Thank you, Coach O, for this wonderful introduction. Now, I am here to talk to you about soccer. And I know you're all so excited to listen about the greatest sport ever, the real football. Don't hate me yet. Don't hate me yet. I have a serious question. All of you, all of you. Why do you guys call it soccer and not football? You play it with your feet. Now you can hate me. So I did start playing soccer when I was 11. And in sports terms, that's actually pretty late. Every girl I know started playing soccer when she was around 5 years old. That is usually the time most of the kids started athletic careers. I started mine 6 years later. Now, the reason for that was because my hometown didn't have a girls' soccer club. Simply didn't exist. I was born in a small town in Bosnia and Herzegovina with roughly 10,000 people, probably less, for all the geography lovers, Southeastern Europe. Now, this town was known and still is for successful male soccer players. Even current national team, Croatian national team coach comes from my hometown, but yet that's just not enough for government to invest in sports. Soccer is huge among common people, really huge. But again, not huge enough for government to actually fund its development. And the sad reality of today's world is that women's sports are less popular than men. So we get even less funds. When we figure out the situation, we can say I was not having a blast. It was against me. And yet, I was blessed. I got the opportunity to come to the United States and play soccer here, and now I have the opportunity to go and play college soccer. And don't get me wrong, this is amazing opportunity, but it's very rare. I was one of the million who got it. Kids in my hometown don't get this opportunity. Kids in other areas in the world who are facing similar issues don't get this opportunity. So that's where my dream comes from. I want to be their opportunity. Now, starting to play soccer late doesn't mean that I can't do big things. Doesn't mean I can't succeed. It does mean that I have to struggle more and work harder. So that's where my idea came from, that I want to build a foundation, nonprofit foundation, that would open soccer schools all around the world for kids ages 5 to 18 who are facing similar issues and who want to play soccer but are not able to. So knowing that this is the ultimate dream of mine, I used this capstone as a research opportunity to figure out what exactly I need. I want this foundation to be more than just soccer schools, just a soccer club. I want it to be my mark on this world. I want it to be a legacy. I want it to be something those kids will have that I didn't. I want it to be their ticket to success. It would be something similar to Rush. If you're not familiar with what Rush is, it is a soccer club here in Colorado that you have to pay to play in. So it's pretty much like any other soccer club. But it does have other schools around the world, so that's what makes it a little bit different. And my foundation would be pretty much the same thing. It would start in more developed, richer countries and parts of the world, and you would have to pay to play in. And later, hopefully through money I make, donations, investments, I would open soccer schools in other parts of the world, and those schools would be free. In the parts of the world where they're just not developed enough, and children actually don't have the opportunity they do in this, let's say in this country. So, like I said, I want this to be more than just soccer school. I want it to be the representation of Jesus' teaching and God's mercy. I want it to be something that I will be remembered by. And I want it most of all to follow the Bible teaching, share with the Lord's people who are in need, practice hospitality, Romans 12:13. And do not withhold good from those to whom it's due when it's in your power to do it, Proverbs 3:27. Now, I chose these specific verses because the whole point of me doing this is to leave a mark on this world, to leave a legacy, to have something that's going to be here even after I'm gone, to have something that's going to be connected to Jesus' teaching and his love and mercy for us. Now, like I said, this is my capstone, and I want to use this year-long, 8 months long project that I was technically forced to do for something useful, all right? I want to do a research on how to actually achieve my dream. So this was an interesting project, to say at least. I learned a lot about my dream and me and what I stand for. And it was really a journey that I was not excited about it. You know, they don't tell you this when they recruit you for front range. Nah, they keep you later, but you can't say no. So I kind of, I was like, oh, okay, I got to do this. but it ended up being something very helpful, and I ended up liking it. So the first thing that it taught me is that I love soccer. I truly do. I knew that before. But even if I love it, it's not necessarily going to be easy. I came into this project believing that, oh, I love soccer. It can be hard, right? I mean, and I was proven wrong. So I learned that even if I love something, I might not always find joy in it. Even if I love something, I might be exhausted by it. But if I love it, it's going to be worth it. Now, my first lesson, the way I taught this was through first setback. That was also my first assignment. So it was a good start. I I interviewed Dana Strifford. She used to play college soccer, and she coached for us and her college. So she seemed like a good option. Coach Joe connected me with her, and I met with her, but she ended up not helping me at all. She quit soccer and currently is working with a nonprofit foundation that helps teen moms just live a life, like through kids and jobs and just find their place in the world, which is noble, but not my target audience. And again, she works for a nonprofit, but doesn't work high enough for me to actually get valuable information from her. So the biggest thing about her was, though, that she quit soccer. And the reason she did that was because she didn't want to be defined by soccer. She wanted to be something else. I love soccer that much that her reasoning doesn't make sense to me. So when she told me that, my exact thoughts were, why am I here? She doesn't understand me. She can't help me. So I finished the interview and I felt disappointed. I felt like I was not a step closer to my dream or anything actually truly helpful. And after this, things kept getting worse. Now, I had an idea to volunteer with Rush, and I had problems scheduling opportunities because communication was bad on my part and theirs. And after that, the Colorado weather hit. We all love the weather, so it snowed. And as you can see snow. I didn't do pretty much anything. I was supposed to help organize the showcase tournament. It was supposed to be 2 days tournament, but because it snowed, first day got canceled, and then the second day was so rushed and crazy that people couldn't focus on me. I was supposed to work with Jeff Carroll, but like I said, in this madness, he could care less what I'm doing there. So I ended up not doing anything besides taking the photos. As you can see, snow, beautiful. But experiencing these difficulties and these frustrations did teach me something. It taught me that I'm willing to sacrifice everything for my dream. I'm willing to go through that. I'm willing to go through frustration, through desperation, whatever it takes to make this dream a reality. We talked about career in senior seminar later in second semester. So with this in mind, Mr. Spector's explanation of the job and career made perfect sense. So the trick is to find the balance between money the job gets you, luck for the job, and its true purpose. And Capstone assured me that soccer does check all of the boxes for me. Despite all these difficulties, I still want to pursue it. Because I believe that God did give me this passion for a reason. And if he gave me the passion, he's going to give me the strength. As the Bible says, I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. Now, love for the job is amazing, but it's not the only thing we need. We need patience. And I am not a patient person. Never was. So I always had the approach of go big or go home, the bigger the better, and stuff like that. And yet again, I was proved wrong. So my first step, like I said, Dana didn't end up being successful at all or even useful, but she did connect me to Tim Schultz, the founder of Rush. And he arguably is the person that helped me the most through this capstone. So as insignificant as they seem, small steps are actually crucial for success. Now, success is something that is surely fascinating to me. People succeed against all odds. They succeed so unexpectedly that they're almost always, characterized as miracles. He's so lucky to be there. It's just pure luck. Well, I read a book called Talent Code written by Daniel Coyle, and he talked about success more in depth, but he found examples from all around the world, people who lived at different times, different areas, who did different things in their lives, and he put them all in one and explained that actually they all did the same thing. They partake in a series of small steps over a longer period of time. So I was reading the book about Russian tennis, Brazilian soccer, musical schools in Texas, and I was thinking, none of those kids is better than me, or anyone in this room for that matters. They're just more patient than I was. They were willing to take small steps than I was. And while reading that, something in me changed. Because, as the quote behind me says, do not look for the big, quick improvement, seek the small improvement one day at a time. So, when I think about this, Rome wasn't built overnight. My foundation can be either. I will start somewhere, and it probably won't be the city of my dreams, probably won't be New York or London or Paris or something big. It might be something small, middle of nowhere, but it's going to be a start. And it might not be successful. I might fail at first, but still, it's going to be a start. With this mindset, I know working hard will get me to the bigger step, so the next foundation, and then the third, and then so on and so on. Now, looking back at my interview, Dana actually was important for me. She connected me to Tim Schultz. Her first small step ended up taking me to a bigger second step. So, to be honest, I'm glad I got disappointed. If I haven't, I would have never learned this valuable lesson. So, yeah, small steps are important because they lead us to big, even great things. Now, the way to start my foundation was the most helpful thing about all this was Tim Schultz. I already mentioned this. He, like I said, is the founder of Rush, so he kind of walked this path before me. And he was the person who actually explained it to me how I do it. This is the path you have to take. This is what it takes. And that was revelation to me. So he started talking about the first thing I need, and I'm going to shock you all with this. Money. I knew that. But the way I get money for a nonprofit is through loans, investments, donations, or even if I start working with another nonprofit and then kind of become my own thing later. But when I get money, I need to open 501c3. That's a formula that I have to submit to government to get it approved. It has basic information like the name, the address, and stuff like that. So after that, I have to create a rough draft of the budget. So I have to prove to the government, I have money, this is why I'm going to use it. And then I have to establish a board of directors. Now, this all might not seem so great to, like when I mention it, it might not seem that great. But to me, it was actually stepping in the world of adults. Like, this is what it takes. I took the first step to transform my dream into a reality. I took the first step to actually do it. I had this idea for a long time, but it was something in my head when I'm older, when I grew up, not right now. And then I was I wasn't forced to do this particular project, but I had to do something, so why not something truly useful? So this was kind of a big step for me. And after Tim Schultz, I talked to a lawyer who opened even crazier perspective for me, legal one. I knew nothing about this. So he walked me through money and how donations and services actually work. So the way nonprofits get money is through either people donating it to them or through people paying for the services they're giving. So there comes many limitations on what can you do, what you cannot do, and how taxes work. And then you have the board of directors, which would be pretty much the executive body of the organization. I would be the president, obviously. And then you have different people underneath the board of directors, and then inside of that board you have secretary, treasurer, stuff like that. So I don't want to go in depth because first of all, I don't think I have time, and second of all, it might be boring. But the point of me standing here and telling you this is that I know all of this. I actually learned this. I actually did it. This capstone actually proved to be helpful. I actually have the clear image, the clear vision of my foundation in my mind now. I know how I want it to look. I know what I need to do. I know what's my next step. And my next step is going to be college. I am not that special. I'm going to go to college. So I'm gonna play college soccer and just go to college, have fun, goof around, be the college kid. But I will major in sports management. So I'm still in that business side of soccer. I'm still there learning about it. But despite the fact that foundation's going a little bit on hold, this journey did teach me a lot. I learned a lot about what I actually stand for. And my biggest hope for the future is that a 11-year-old girl from Bosnia and Herzegovina will be able to give a chance for kids to succeed against all odds. I will give them a chance I never had, or I did until I was older. I want that foundation to stand there and remind everybody that this is something that Jesus wants there. It's something that will represent Jesus' teaching of sharing and not asking anything in return. I don't expect those kids to pay me back ever. They don't even have to like soccer that much to go do like be pro or do good things. I'm fine with that. I just want them to have the opportunity, the freedom to choose, because I didn't. So I want every boy or girl in Africa who never dreamed of playing in World Cup to get an opportunity to do so. I want to make it to be, do you want to do it rather than can you do it? If you want to do it, I'll help you do it. We'll figure it out. I want to share my passion with them in a completely different way because soccer truly is my passion. It is something I love the most. It's my light in dark moments. It was my escape always when I needed it. It's something that makes me feel like me. So when I was asked the question at the beginning of this year, what do you love the most? I knew the answer right away. It's the same answer for the past 8 years and hasn't changed. I'm still that 11-year-old girl who started playing the beautiful game of soccer. I'm still that 15-year-old girl who cried herself to sleep because she's not good enough in the things she loves the most. I'm still that 17-year-old girl who figured that she's too late to the party of playing soccer. So when I was asked by my teachers, what do you love the most? I knew the answer, soccer. But I didn't think it's the right answer. I mean, shouldn't I change the world through science or missions? Something truly useful? So soccer was something that I never planned on sharing with anybody. It was supposed to be my little escape, my little dream, my little heaven. Emphasis on mine, nobody's else. But when I was asked that question and I knew the answer, I thought about it. I mean, when you think about it, for better or worse, God gave me this passion, this love, and now it's on me to try and glorify it through it. So I challenge every one of you in the same way I was challenged. What do you love the most? Thank you.